Cleveland Indians baseball. We're at Cleveland Stadium as the Indians take on the Washington Senators in a doubleheader today. And we will be showing game one of that doubleheader. Cleveland's lost their last two in a row, being beaten by Baltimore Thursday night and losing to Washington yesterday 5-2. Game that was highlighted by a long home run by Frank Howard off a pitch by Steve Hargan that the video or the text description of the game very charitably described as a meatball. Not sure I've seen a pitch described like that before. I don't think Joe Tate was doing Indians broadcast yet in 71. I think he started in 73. And he probably would have called a pitch like that a meatball, even if an Indians pitcher threw it. Now, Tom Hamilton, I think, may have called a pitch a meatball if an opposing pitcher threw it. I don't think he would describe an Indians pitcher's pitch like that. This is Sunday, April 18th, and the Indians are 4-3. Their loss to Washington yesterday allowed Washington to slip ahead of them into second place, tied with New York. New York looked like they were going to take second place all by themselves yesterday as they were leading the Orioles 5-4 going into the bottom of the ninth, but the Orioles scored two runs to win the game. So the Orioles are still in first place all by themselves. And after the last several years of the way the Orioles have played, they have a 7-2 record, and but Cleveland is only 2 games behind them at 4-3. All right, we will be right back with the starting lineups. All right, and we're back. Welcome to Cleveland Stadium for today's game between Washington and Cleveland, game one of a doubleheader. Denny McLain will start for Washington. He's made 2 starts on the year and is 0-2 with an ERA of 8.76. He'll be opposed by Sam McDowell. He made 2 starts on the year. He is 2-0 with an ERA of 2.08. It's 56 degrees. Wind speed is 6 miles per hour out the left field, so it's a chilly day at the stadium. Washington's starting lineup will be batting first the second baseman, Tim Cullen. Batting second, the center fielder, Curt Flood. Batting third, the first baseman, Frank Howard. Batting fourth, the third baseman, Joe Foy. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Elliot Maddox. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Richie Scheinblum. Batting seventh, the catcher, Paul Casanova. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Toby Harrah. And batting ninth, the pitcher, Denny McLain. At defense, Cleveland will line up with Ken Harrelson at first, Eddie Leone at second, Lou Camilli filling in for the injured Larry Brown at shortstop, Greg Nettles at third, Ted Uhlaender making his first start of the year. He'll be in left field. Vada Pinson at center, John Lowenstein in right, Ray Fosse catching, and on the mound is Sam McDowell. Today's a game of Cy Young Award winners facing each other. Sam McDowell, fastball pitcher, he throws hard. He was a Cy Young Award winner in 1965 and in 1970. And Denny McLain, pitching for Washington, was a Cy Young Award winner in 1968. McDowell's last start was against fellow Cy Young Award winner Mike Cuellar, who was a Cy Young winner in '69. The Indians won that game 2-1. Orioles were leading 1-0 after a home run by Dave Johnson going into the bottom of the eighth, and then Roy Foster hit a two-run homer to give the Indians the edge, and then Steve McGorry came in the ninth inning and shut the door on the Orioles, getting a save. Leading off for Washington is Tim Cullen. Cullen's hitting .344, no home runs in, 4 runs batted in. Here's McDowell with the first pitch. Inside, ball 1. Check swing, strike called, strike 1. Here's the curveball, that's high and outside, ball 2. Got the outside corner, strike 2. Too high, ball 3, full count. Rips one down the first base line, but that's foul. Low, ball 4. Here's Curt Flood. Flood's hitting .200, no home runs, 2 runs batted in. He's 4 for 20 on the season. He's a little anxious about a slow start, and Ted Williams is assuring him, you know, you're our guy. We know you can hit. Run around first. Too low, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ball 2. There goes Cullen. Flood hits a grounder to short. Camilli is only plays the first. And he throws him out. 1 out. Cullen takes second. Here's Frank Howard. He's hitting .286, 4 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Frank Howard, he was the MVP in 1968. So Washington has both the MVP and Cy Young Award winners from '68 on their squad. He had a big home run against Cleveland yesterday. Also had a double, drove in 3 runs. Fastball, high, ball 1. Another one too high, ball 2. In the dirt, ball 3. Dallas having a little trouble with his control right now. Weather related, possibly. The 3-0 pitch. Too high, ball 4. He wasn't giving Howard anything to hit. Here is Joe Foy. He is hitting .333, no home runs, 1 run batted in. You see, I believe Foy had a good day against Cleveland yesterday. Yeah, he went 2 for 5 yesterday, scored 2 runs. He had a double. Howard drove in 3 of the 5 runs, just high and outside, ball one. Fly ball in the right field. Lowenstein going back to the track. Dives, and he's got it. Nice catch by Lowenstein. That catch probably saved the run. Cullen probably would have scored if that ball would have got past Lowenstein. Here is Elliot Maddox, who's hitting .300, 1 home run and 3 runs batted in. He came to Washington in the trade that brought Denny McLain to the team. Trade that sent Aurelio Rodriguez, Eddie Brinkman, and Joe Coleman to the Tigers. Joe Coleman was hit in the head by a line drive in spring training, suffered a fractured skull. But he reports that he hasn't had any dizziness or headaches from that. And he thinks he may be pitching before the month is out. I got to believe Billy Martin loves the grit on that guy if he's ready to start playing already, or almost. Fastball right down the middle for strike one. The 0-1 pitch. It's a little bouncer to McDowell. He tosses it to first, and that's 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Washington nothing, and Cleveland is coming to bat. Cleveland's starting lineup will be leading off the right fielder, John Lowenstein. Batting second, the center fielder, Vada Pinson. Batting third, the catcher, Ray Fosse. Batting fourth, the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Ken Harrelson. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Ted Uhlaender. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Eddie Leone. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Lou Camilli. He is filling in for the injured Larry Brown, Larry Brown got hurt yesterday. First they thought he might be gone for a while, but now today they announced that he is actually just day to day. And batting ninth pitcher, Sam McDowell. Washington on defense has Frank Howard at first, Tim Cullen at second, Toby Harrah at shortstop, Joe Foy at third, Richie Scheinblum in left, Kurt Flood in center, Elliot Maddox in right, Paul Casanova catching, and on the mound is Denny McLain. Denny McLain, the Cy Young Award winner in 1968. He won 29 games that year. That was following an 18-10 season in 1967. He followed that up with a 19-13 season in 1969. If he had gotten that 30th victory in 1968, the Tigers might have won the pennant that year. Last year, he had a very problematic season. There was evidence brought forth that he had been associating with gamblers. So he was suspended until July 1st. Came on, he pitched all right when he first came back. He ended up with an 8-7 record last year with a 4.32 ERA. And then he got suspended again for the duration of the season in September for dumping water on some sports writers. He's a fastball pitcher, but his fastball doesn't have the velocity that it had in the 60s. He's pitched 227 games, of which 224 of those were starts. He pitched 78 complete games. He pitched 31 complete games in 68 and 20 complete games in 69. And he's between 1965 and 1969, he pitched at least 241 in the third innings. Arm might be starting to wear down a little bit. He's been a big league pitcher since 1964 with Detroit until this year with Washington. He is a product of Chicago, and he is married to Lou Boudreaux's daughter. Lou Boudreaux, former Indians icon, and who now is a broadcaster with the Chicago Cubs. Okay, leading off for the Indians against McLean will be John Lowenstein. Lowenstein's hitting .286, no home runs and no runs batted in. He is 2 for 7 on the season. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a grounder right back to the mound. McLean has it, throws him out. 1 out. Here's Vada Pinson. Pinson's hitting .296, no home runs, 3 runs batted in. Pinson's a good bunter. They're playing like they may think he's bunting for a hit. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball in center field. Flood going back near the track, and he's got it. 2 outs. Here's Ray Fosse, sitting .333, no home runs and 4 runs batted in. Fosse's still looking for his first home run. Last year in a season that ended in August, when he broke his finger, he had 20 home runs. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's bouncer to second. Cullen is up with it. Go to first. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the first. We go to the second. No score. For Washington in the second, it will be Richie Scheinblum, Paul Casanova, and Toby Harrah. Richie Scheinblum, formerly with Cleveland. He had a couple of September call-ups with them in 65, 67, and 68. Yeah, he got into 125 games in 69. He hit 195. And I believe he was traded to Kansas City in the offseason before last year. He is 0 for 1 on the season. First pitch, fastball. It's a shallow fly ball in the left field. Eulander's under it, and he's got it. 1 out. Here's Paul Casanova, who's hitting .261, no home runs and 2 runs batted in. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Here is Toby Harrah, who's hitting .275, no home runs and 2 runs batted in. Too high, ball 1. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Strike two called on a changeup. It's ground ball to third. Nettles only plays the first. And Harris out. 2 outs. Casanova takes second. Here is Denny McLain. He's 1 for 3 on the season. No home runs, no runs batted in. Something I read about that was interesting. In the 1971 spring training, they had been talking since the mid 60s, in the American League especially, about a designated pinch hitter rule, where a player could be designated as pinch hitter and he could pinch hit for any one hitter in the lineup. Now, of course, this generally meant that they would be hitting for the pitcher. So they tried it as an experiment in the Eastern League. And I didn't see anything about yet how the Eastern League reacted to it. But on designated days in spring training, the American League and National League teams could use it if they saw fit. And a few of the managers used it. But the manager who used it the most was Ted Williams. Ted Williams is advocating for this rule. He has been very vocal through his career that having pitchers hit is a waste of time. And he has also, at times, thought that they should just change the rules and have the batting order be 1 through 8 and not even bother with having pitchers hit. So he is already on board for this rule, which, we'll put a pin in it. The designated pinch hitter rule. This rule is going to come back. All right, here's McLain. He is 1 for 3. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike one. Inside, McLain checks his swing. They appeal, and the ump said he held up. Ball one. Swing and a miss, strike two. McLain hits base hit up the middle. Casanova rounds third. He's heading for home. And Pinson throws it into the cutoff man. 1-0 Washington. Here is Tim Cullen. He walked his first time up in the first inning. Strike one called. Hulo, ball one. High and in, ball two. Low and inside, ball three. Cullen hits a grounder up the middle. Camilli to his left. Has it and he tosses it to Leon. 3 outs. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. They left 1 on base. We go to the bottom of the second. It's Washington 1, Cleveland nothing. For Cleveland in the second, it will be Greg Nettles, Ken Harrelson, and Ted Ullander. Nettles is hitting .423, 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. It's the opposite of the 1970 season when he got off to a very slow start in April with the bat. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, it's grounder to Cullen. 1 out. Ken Harrelson, he's hitting .364 with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. The 3-2 pitch.
Ball four. Take your
Outside,
base.
ball 4. First walk given up by McClain. Here is Ted Uhlaender. He's making his first start of the year. He is 0 for 4 on the season. Fly ball down the right field line. Maddox is after it, but it's in the stands. Strike 1. Ball 1. Herb, he looked at strike 2. Ball 2 inside. Uhlaender hits a base hit up the middle. Floods up with it. Harrelson rounds third, or rounds second. He's going for third. The throw from Flood. Harrelson's safe. 1 out. Runners on the corners. Here is Eddie Leon, who's hitting .304. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. Just outside ball 1. Swing hits a grounder up the middle. Cullen to his right. He has it. Harrelson's breaking for the plate. The throw to throws it home. Casanova makes the tag, and Harrelson is out. Wow, I thought they were going to go for the double play there. Let's take a look at that again. Yeah, Cullen, he didn't even hesitate. They got him. 2 outs. Here is Lou Camilli. He is hitting .500 this season. No home runs, no runs batted in. He is 2 for 4. And both of his hits have been doubles. Oop, I'm sorry. Had a little technical glitch there. Fastball at the shoulders, ball 1. Strike 1 called. Swing and a miss, strike 2. The 1-2 pitch. In at the knee, strike 3 called. First strikeout for McClain. And Unions get no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. They rolled the dice, and Harrelson was out at the plate trying to score the tying run. And after 2, it is Washington 1, Cleveland nothing. It'll be Curt Flood, Frank Howard, and Joe Foy for Washington in third. Flood is 0 for 1 today with a ground out. The 0-2 pitch. It's base hit in right field. Lowenstein's up with it and tosses it back in. Here is Frank Howard. He walked last time up. Fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 1. Another fastball caught the outside corner. Strike 2. Low and outside ball 1. Howard wasn't biting on that one. 1-2 pitch. Another changeup. He fouls it back. Count remains 1-2. Inside, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout of the game for McDowell. 1 out. Here is Joe Foy, who is 0 for 1. He flied out. In the first. Fastball too high, ball 1. Another fastball. Foy fouls it back. That's in the dirt. Gets away from Fosse. Flood takes second. They're calling that a wild pitch. 2-1 pitch. In the dirt and outside, ball 3. It's a hard grounder to third. Nettles looks Flood back, throws to first, 2 outs. Here is Elliot Maddox, who is 0 for 1. He grounded to the pitcher in the first inning. That's right at the knee, strike 1. Richie Scheinblum is on deck. The 0-1 pitch outside, ball 1. Ball 2. And now that I think about it, I think Scheinblum was traded to Washington from Cleveland in the Mike Paul trade. Two-two pitch. Strike 3 called. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They left 1. We go to the bottom of the third. It is Washington 1, Cleveland nothing. For Cleveland in the third, it will be Sam McDowell, John Lowenstein, and Veda Pinson. McDowell is 0 for 3 as a hitter this season. 2-0 pitch. Puts a fly ball in right field. Maddox near the line. He's got it. 1 out. Here is John Lowenstein, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out to Denny McLain. First, the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Walk number 2 given up by McLain. Here is Veda Pinson, who's 0 for 1. He flied center fielder last time up. Deep fly ball in right field. Maddox going back to the wall, and it's gone. Home run. Home run number 1 for Veda Pinson this season. One went 325 feet, and Cleveland takes a 2-1 lead. Here is Ray Fosse, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out in the first. The 2-2 pitch. Fly ball to center field. Maddox, Flood at the wall. It's off the wall. Fosse around second. He's going for third. He dives. And he's safe. Fosse safe on third with a triple. That's his first triple of the year. Here's Greg Nettles, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out in the second. Runner on third, 1 out. Curveball, just caught the outside corner, strike 1. Fastball that Nettles fouls it back. Too high, ball 1. It's a deep drive, right field. Maddox looking up. That is gone. Home run. Home run number 5 for Nettles. That one went 408 feet. That makes it 4-1 Cleveland. And Nettles really crushed that one. I don't think the game tracks home runs by length. But that one went up into the yellow seats, the general admission seats in right field. Here is Ken Harrelson, the Hawk. He walked in the second inning. 3-1 pitch. That one bounced to the plate. And Harrelson gets his second walk of the game. Third walk given up by McLain. Here's Ted Uhlaender, who is 1 for 1. He singled in his second. So he is 1 for 5 on the season. Fastball, too low, ball 1. ball 2. Too low, the curveball. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. That caught the outside corner. Strike 1. Uhlaender was taken all the way. 3-1 pitch. Changeup. Slow roller. Cullen comes in. Tejera to first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. But the Indians get 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors, no one left. We played 3 at Cleveland Stadium, and the Indians lead the Senators 4-1. Let's take a look around the leagues and see what's going on. Top of the 4th in New York, Mets lead the Pirates 1-0. That is Luke Walker against Gary Gentry. Pittsburgh's off to a fast start. They're 8-2. And the 4-3 Mets are 2.5 games behind them. Bottom of the 2nd in Montreal, the Reds lead the Expos 4-0. That's Jim Merritt against Steve Renko. Bottom of the 4th in Baltimore, Yankees lead the Orioles 1-0. That's Stan Bonson against Mike Cuellar. Orioles are in first place at 7-2, and New York and Washington are tied for second at 6-4. But New York would like to cut that 1.5 game lead down to a half game, if possible. Washington is bottom of the 3rd in Detroit. The Tigers lead the Red Sox 1-0. That is Bill Lee against Dean Chance. Boy, the Red Sox and the Tigers, they both have been getting off to a sluggish start this season. And the bottom of the 3rd in Philadelphia, the Braves and the Phillies are tied 2-2. Hank Aaron's hit his 3rd home run of the year. That is Pat Jarvis against Rick Wise. In the 4th inning for Washington, it will be Scheinblum, Casanova, and Hara. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, I looked it up, and Richie Scheinblum did indeed come to Washington from Cleveland, but it was a straight money purchase. It wasn't a trade. Scheinblum was 0 for 1. He flied out in the 2nd inning. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball, too low. Ball 4. That is walk number 4 given up by McDowell. Here's Paul Casanova. He walked in the 2nd inning. And he scored the Senators' only run of the game so far. Fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 1. Inside, ball 1, curveball. Just below the belt, strike 2. Inside, ball 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Low and inside, ball 3. Got to see what McDye, he's thrown 70 pitches, 36 of those for strikes, 34 of those for balls. So he is having some issues with his control today. 3-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 called. 1 out. Here's Toby Hara, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out in the 2nd inning. He hits a ground ball into left field. That's a base hit. Scheinblum stops at 2nd. Runners on 1st and 2nd. 1 out. And here's Denny McLain. Lane is 1-for-1 today. He singled in the second and driving in Casanova. McLean is an excellent bunter, and they're playing him to bunt. Bunt, it's a pop-up. Fosse's after it. Fosse has it to throw to first. Oh, Hara got back in time. 2 outs. Let's look at that one again. Lane can't get it down. Fosse after it. He has to play perfectly. And he fires a Leone at second, but Hara got back. Here is Tim Cullen, who's 0 for 1. He walked in the first and grounded into a force out in the second. Ooh, I'm sorry, another technical difficulty. Watching that bunt of McLean's again, I thought I had that fixed. Here's the first pitch. That caught the inside corner, strike one. Changeup. Inside, ball one. Low, ball two. Strike two called. High and inside, ball three. Full count, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Cullen pops it up. Foul territory, first base side. Harrelson's after it, but it makes the seats. Slow roller down the third base line, but that's foul. Count remains full. Fouls it back. High and outside, ball four. Walk number 5. Given up by McDowell today. The bases are loaded. 2 outs. And there's Kurt Flood, who's 1 for 2. He grounded to short. And he singled in third. Later on today in the NHL, in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Toronto takes on New York. Toronto leads that series 3-2. Yeah, the winner of that series will take on St. Louis. St. Louis, who in a stunning upset swept the highly favored Chicago Blackhawks. And in the other division will be the Bruins taking on the Minnesota North Stars. And I believe there will also be an ABA playoff game today. Yeah, between Kentucky, led by rookie phenom Dan Issel, against the Floridians. Kentucky leads that series 2-0. And in the other division, Indiana leads that series 2-1 against Utah. And the winners of those 2 series will play for the ABA championship. The NBA championship will begin later this week. That will be between the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks and the Cincinnati Royals. Okay, we're back to baseball. First pitch to Kurt Flood. Inside, ball one. Flood check to swing. Too low, ball two. Pops it up, third base side, foul ground. Nettles is after it, near the bullpen, but it makes the seats. At the belt, strike two. I see that they just got started in Milwaukee, the Royals and the Brewers. But those Royals, they won on opening day. Start out the season with a 1-0 record. And then after that, they have lost their last 10 games in a row. They have a 10-game losing streak right now. They're 1-10. They are injury riddled. Bob Lemon is like at a loss. At least it's early in the season. Former Indians great pitcher Bob Lemon, the manager of the Kansas City Royals. 2-2 pitch. Flood fouls it back. Count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. Indians up by 3. He hits a slow roller to the mound. McDowell fields it. Bang, bang, play. And they get it just in time to retire Kurt Flood. Flood is a fast man. McDowell rushed it. The ball got caught in his glove. But they are able to get out of the inning with giving up no runs. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They left the bases loaded. Go to the bottom of the 4th. It is Cleveland 4, Washington 1. For the Indians in the 4th, it will be Eddie Leon, Lou Camilli, and Sam McDowell. Leon is 0 for 1 today. He grounded it into a fielder's choice. Get a grounder to Cullen in the second. And Ken Harrelson was out trying to score. The 2-1 pitch. It's a fly ball in the right field. Down the line, Maddox is there, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Luke Camilli, who's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second. 3-1 pitch. Fouls it back. Casanova's after it. But it's out of play. Count remains full. Another foul out of play. Strike 3. He swung at a pitch that was out of the strike zone. Strikeout number 2 for McClain. Here's Sam McDowell. He's 0 for 1 today. He flied out in the 3rd. He's 0 for 4 on the season at the plate. Grounder up the middle. That's a base hit. McDowell and McClain each have a hit today. Here is John Lowenstein, who is 0 for 1. He grounded out in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Strike 1. It's outside. Ball 1. Changeup. Lowenstein hits a little foul roller down the first base line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Up and away. Ball 2. Fly ball into center field. Flood going back to the wall. That's gone. Home run, John Lowenstein. That's his first home run of the year. That one went 381 feet. Would have been bouncing around out around here where they keep the cage for batting practice. And the Indians take a 6-1 lead. Here's Veda Pinson. He is 1 for 2. He flied out in the first and hit a 2-run homer in the third. Fly ball in right field. Maddox at the warning track, and he's got it. 3 outs. But Cleveland gets 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, none left. We played 4. It is Cleveland 6, Washington 1. Cleveland has 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They've left 2 men on base. Washington has 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. They've left 7 on base. Washington scored first. The first inning with 1 out. Casanova walked. Hara advanced him on a ground out. The second, and then McLean single. Scoring Casanova. That made it 1-0. Bottom of the third. With 1 out, John Lowenstein walked. Then Veda Pinson hit a 2-run homer. Ray Flosson followed that up with a triple. And then Greg Nettles followed that up with a 2-run. That made it 4-1. Then in the bottom of the fourth, McDowell singled and Lowenstein hit a 2-run homer. So it's 6-1. Cleveland with 3 2-run homers today. For Washington, it will be Frank Howard, Joe Foy, and Elliot Maddox. Howard is 0 for 1. He walked in the first and struck out in the third. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He hits a liner down the third base line. That's foul. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Sam McDowell. Here is Joe Foy, who is 0 for 2. He flied out in the first and grounded out in the third. The 1-2 pitch. He hits a blooper into left center. Pinson's up with it. And Foy is on first with a single. Here's Elliot Maddox, who's 0 for 2. He grounded at the pitcher in the first and struck out in the third. Foul throws to first, and Foy's back. Another throw to first. He's safe. Here's the first pitch, breaking ball. Wide, ball 1. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Another throw to first. Foy's back. The 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. Too low, ball 3. Lying outside, ball 4. That's walk number 6 today for McDowell. Here's Richie Scheinblum. He's 0 for 1. He flied out in the second, walked in the fourth. He is 0 for 2 on the season. He's looking for his first hit. Swing as a foul tip. Strike 1. Ball 1. Curveball, swing and a miss. Strike 2. McDowell's curveball looks like it's about as fast as Denny McLean's fastball. Below the knees and inside, ball 2. The 2-2 pitch. Hits a ground ball at second. Leone to Camilli at short. To Harrelson. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. No runs, one hit, no errors. They left 2 men on base. No, they left 1 man on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's an official game here in Cleveland. It is Cleveland 6, Washington 1. Cleveland in the 5th, it will be Ray Fosse, Greg Nettles, and Ken Harrelson. Fosse is 1 for 2 today. He tripled in the 3rd. The 2-0 pitch. Gets base hit in the center field. Flood's up with it. And Fosse's on first. That's his 2nd hit of the game. Here's Greg Nettles. He's 1 for 2. He hit his 5th home run of the year in the 3rd. That puts Nettles at the American League lead for home runs. Willie Stargell and Richie Hebner of the Pirates both have 5. And with Minnesota, Oliva and Killebrew both have 4. So Nettles is leading the AL in home runs right now. And he is also 2nd in the American League in batting average, behind Mark Belanger. Swing and a miss, strike 1. In the dirt, ball 1. Too low, ball 2. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Too high, ball 4. Walk number 4 for McClain. He's having some control issues as well. Would be the weather. Chilly as it is, and with the right now the wind is coming in from right to left, so it's not coming in off the lake. So the wind wouldn't be quite as bad, but it's doesn't look like a comfortable day at the stadium. Here is Ken Harrelson. He has walked twice today. He's hitting .750 with 2 home runs with runners in scoring position. Inside, ball 1. Low, he checked his swing. Ump says no swing, ball 2. Fly ball down the left field line. Scheinblum is after it, but it makes the seats. Balls at 1 strike, nobody out. Low and outside, ball 3. Third ball, Harrelson hits it up the middle. Cullen tosses to Hara to throw to first. Double play. That was a 4-6-3 double play. Fosse moves to 3rd, and Ted Uhlaender is up. He is 1 for 2. He singled in the 2nd, and he hit into a double play in the 3rd. Leone is on deck. Strike 1 called. Fly ball in the left field. Scheinblum is there, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left. No, I'm sorry, 1 man left. There was a double play. We played 5 in Cleveland. It's the Indians 6, the Senators 1. For Washington in the 6th, it will be Paul Casanova, Toby Hara, and Denny McClain. Casanova, he is 0 for 1 today. Struck out in the 4th. The 1-0 pitch. It's a fly ball in the center field. Pinson drifting over, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Toby Hara, who's 1 for 2. He singled in the 4th. The 1-0 pitch. Grounder up the middle. Camilli to his left. Has it. Throw to first. 2 outs. Here is Dennis Dale McClain. He is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the second, driving in Casanova. And he popped up a bunt to the catcher. That was very nearly a double play. The 1-2 pitch. In there at the knee. Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 5. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cleveland 6, Washington 1. Looking to see if this may be McClain's last inning out on the mound. Washington has a reasonably refreshed bullpen right now. More so than Cleveland does. Cleveland has one injured pitcher, Alan Foster. He's made 2 starts since coming over, and he's left both of those games with injuries. First injury cost him a start. And this injury right now might cost him a start as well. Game 2 of the doubleheader later today will be Steve Dunning making his first start of the year for Cleveland. He made one quick relief appearance, has a save against Casey Cox. Cleveland in the 6th, it will be Eddie Leon, Lou Camilli, and Sam McDowell. Leon is 0 for 2 today. He grounded a second in the second, and Tim Cullen threw out Ken Harrelson at the plate. The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. That is strikeout number 3 for McClain. Here's Lou Camilli. He's 0 for 2. He struck out twice. Struck out in the second and struck out in the 4th. The 2-2 pitch. Pops it up. Foul ground. Cullen is after it. He calls everybody off, and he's got it. 2 outs. And here's Sam McDowell. He's 1 for 2. He flied out in the 3rd, and he singled in the 4th. The 0-2 pitch. It's based in the right field. That's hit number 2 today for Sam McDowell. Here is John Lowenstein. He is 1 for 2 today. He hit a 2-run homer in the 4th. Beta Pinson's on deck. Fastball, too high, ball 1. Inside, ball 2. Wing and a miss, strike 1. Too high, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. It's a shallow fly ball in the right field. Maddox coming in, and he's got it. 3 outs. Cleveland gets no runs, 1 hit, no errors. They left 1 on base. After 6 at Cleveland Stadium, it is Cleveland 6, Washington 1. For Washington in the top of the 7th, it will be Tim Cullen, Kurt Flood, and Frank Howell. Cullen is 0 for 1. He had a ground out and a pair of walks. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's liner to center field, but it's right at Pinson. Broke his bat on that one. 1 out. Here's Kurt Flood, who's 1 for 3. He has a single and a pair of groundouts. The 3-2 pitch. Flood hits a grounder to third. Nettles is up with it. Throw to first. 1 out, or 2 outs, I'm sorry. And here is Frank Howard, who's 0 for 2 today. He walked in the second, and then he struck out in the third and struck out in the fifth. 2-1 pitch. Fly ball in the left field. Uhlander going back to the wall, and that's gone. Home run number 5 for Frank Howard. That one measured 390 feet. That's his second home run of the weekend. And that'll make it 6-2 in favor of Cleveland. Here is Joe Foy, who's 1 for 3. He's single in the fifth. Cleveland, for the last 2 years or so, have been trying to acquire Frank Howard from Washington. The 0-1 pitch. Foul tip. It's an easy grounder to second. Leone up with it to throw to first. 3 outs. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. No one left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Cleveland 6 and Washington 2. Take a look around the league. Top of the 8th. In New York, the Mets lead the Pirates 2-0. Bob Veal against Danny Frisilla. Bottom of the 6th at Park Jerry. The Reds lead the Expos 9-0. Tommy Helms hit his first home run of the year. That is Jim Merritt against John Strohmeyer. Bottom of the 3rd at Comiskey Park. It is the A's 3, the White Sox 2. Paul Lindblad against Tommy John. Top of the 8th in Baltimore. Yankees and Orioles tied at 3. Ron Hansen hit his first home run of the year for the Yankees. It's Gary Waslewski against Mike Cuellar. Top of the 5th in Milwaukee. Kansas City 5, Milwaukee nothing. That's former Indian Mike Hedlund against Bill Parsons. Maybe Kansas City will be able to break the 10-game losing streak. Top of the 7th in Detroit. The Red Sox lead the Tigers 4-2. Norm Cash hit his second home run of the year for the Tigers. That is Bill Lee against Fred Sherman. Bottom of the 7th in Philadelphia. Phillies lead the Braves 5-2. As I mentioned before, Hank Aaron hit his 3rd home run of the year as he is pressing on, along with Willie Mays, as they each are looking to get their 3,000th hit and their 600th career home run. That is Steve Barber against Rick Wise. And bottom of the 3rd in Minnesota, the Angels lead the Twins 4-0. Jim Spencer hit his 3rd home run for the Angels. That is Jim Maloney against Tom Hall. Hall's off to an 0-2 start this year. He had, if you recall, he had an excellent postseason with the Twins. Last year, he won Game 6, the concluding game of the World Series. California's off to a hot start. They're 8-3. Oakland's right behind them at 8-4, and Minnesota is right behind Oakland at 7-4. New pitcher for Washington. It is Joe Brazenda, making his 7th appearance of the season. He's pitched 7 2/3 innings. He has 1 save, an ERA of 3.52. He's given up 6 hits. He's walked 4, struck out 8. See what he did yesterday. He pitched yesterday against Cleveland. He pitched 1 inning against the Indians. He walked 1 and struck out 2. In the seventh, he'll be facing Veda Pinson, Ray Fosse, and Greg Nettles. Rick Austin is warming up in the Indians bullpen. All those pitches McDowell threw, he might be done for the day. All right, here's Veda Pinson, who is 1 for 3. He hit a 2-run homer in the third. The first of two 2-run home runs in the third. The 1-0 pitch. Pops it up on the infield. Colin calls for it. He waved off Toby Harrah, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Ray Fosse, who's 2 for 3. He tripled in the third and singled in the fifth. Cleveland, the Indians have created some positive buzz in the first couple weeks of the season, and why not? Off to a good start. They're over 500 in the second weekend of the season. They're playing some good ball. And even when they lose, it's not like they just dry up and go away or just give up without a fight. They're playing right to the end. And they got some exciting young ball players. So it looks like the future for Cleveland might be all right. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Fosse. Fly ball down the left field line. Scheinblum is after it, and he's got it. 2 outs. Here is Greg Nettles. He's 1 for 2. He hit the second of the two-run homers in the third. He has 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. First 8 games of the season. He is off to an excellent start. The 1-2 pitch. It's a fly ball to center. Flood coming in. And he's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the 7th. He played 7 complete innings. Here at Cleveland, it is the Indians 6 and the Senators 2. New pitcher for Cleveland is Rick Austin. Austin's a fastball pitcher. He throws almost as hard as McDowell does. But his control is not as good. His control has been his weak spot. He appeared in 33 games last year. 3 of those were starts. He had a record of 1-5. He had 4 saves. In 66 2/3 innings, he walked 24. He struck out 55. So he does bring some heat. This is his second appearance of the year. He pitched 1 inning against Boston. The Indians won that game 7-4. 18 pitches that game. He walked 2 batters. He doesn't have a strikeout yet this season. He will face Elliot Maddox, Richie Scheinblum, and Paul Casanova. Maddox is 0 for 2. He had a groundout, a strikeout, and a walk. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Austin got him with the curve. 1 out. Here is Richie Scheinblum, who is 0 for 2. Fly out in the second, walked in the fourth, and grounded into a double play in the fifth. 1-1 pitch. It's base hit in the left field. Ulander tosses it back in. Runner on first, 1 out. Here is Paul Casanova, who is 0 for 2. At a walk, a strikeout, and a flyout. Ball inside. Down and in, ball 2. Austin is really bringing some heat. Strike 1 called. He's thrown even harder than McDowell did today. Low and outside ball 3. Boy, if this kid could harness his control. He looks at strike 2. Full count. Curveball, strike 3 called. Casanova looking for a strike, looking for a fastball, and he got crossed up with a slow breaking curveball. 2 outs. Here is Toby Harrah, who's 1 for 3. He singled in the fourth. Missed. Ball 1. Got a piece of it. Fouled it back. Strike 1. It's a deep fly ball down the left field line. Ulander back to the wall. That's gone. Home run number 1 for Toby Harrah. And that'll make it 6-4 Washington. And here's the pitcher's spot. And Tom McCraw will pitch hit. Tom McCraw is hitting .400, 1 home run, and 2 runs batted in. As the pinch hitter, he is 1 for 2. The 1-2 pitch. It's a deep fly ball, right field. Lowenstein looks up, and that one's gone. Home run number 2 for McCraw, and it's a 1-run ball game. Here is Tim Cullen, who's 0 for 2. The 0-1 pitch. Hits a grounder to second. Leone up with it. Throw to first. 3 outs. But Washington gets 3 runs. On 3 hits, 2 home runs. No errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Cleveland 6, Washington 5. For Cleveland in the 8th, it will be Harrelson, Ulander, and Leone. New pitcher is Denny Riddleberger. He's making his 8th appearance of the year. He has 7 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits. 1 of those a home run. He has walked 4, struck out 4. He has no record yet this year and an ERA of 7.71. And spoiler, he is a future member of the Cleveland Indians. He pitched a third of an inning yesterday and gave up 1 hit. Hawk is 0 for 1. Walked twice and he grounded into a double play. The 0-1 pitch. It's a fly ball in the right field. Maddox drifting back on the track and he's got it. 1 out. Ted Ulander, who is 1 for 3. He singled in the second. Grounded into a double play in the third and flied out in the 5th. 2-2 pitch. Fouls it back. It's a grounder to second. Cullen is up with it. The throw to first. 2 outs. Steve Mingori is heating up in the bullpen. Here is Eddie Leon, who's 0 for 3. Full count. Just caught the corner, strike 3. Casanova dropped it. He had to throw Leon out at first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. After 8, it is Cleveland 6, Washington 5. John Lowenstein moves to second base. And coming into play right field is Ted Ford. And Steve Mingori is on the mound. Mingori's making his 4th appearance of the year. He's pitched 1 2/3 innings. He's given up 2 hits. He's walked 2. He has struck out 1. He has 2 saves and an ERA of 16.20. And it's, I guess, a little deceiving. The 2 saves. One is he pitched a third of an inning against Boston. That was in relief of McDowell. Then his second game against Boston, a third of an inning, they scored 3 runs off him. And then Wednesday, he pitched an inning against Baltimore. He got them 3 up and 3 down. For Washington in the 9th, it will be Flood, Howard, and Foy. Flood is 1 for 4. He singled in the 3rd. One pitch. Pops it up third base side. Nettles is after it. But it makes the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball, ball. Ball 4. Tying run is on first. Here's Frank Howard at the plate. He is 1 for 3. He hit a solo home run in the 7th. He represents the go-ahead run. Fouls it back. Strike 1. It's below the belt. Strike 2. Change up. Ball 1. McDowell's a fastball pitcher, and he throws about as hard as McDowell and Austin both were. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That is Howard's 3rd strikeout today. Ooh, that's a big out. 1 out. Here's Joe Foy, who is 1 for 4. He singled in the 5th. I caught the outside corner. Strike 1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Fastball down. Ball 1. Foy not chasing. Nice grab by Fossey. Ball 2. Up high. Ball 3. Full count. We hit him on the shoulder. Boy's hurt. But he's going to stay in the game. Oh, that puts the go-ahead run on base. Call to the bullpen. Ray Lamb is getting up. Maddox is over 3. Change up, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Fastball, he pops it up, out of play. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Just outside, ball 2. Man, I would be on the edge of my seat if I was at this game. It's a fly ball to center field. Pinson's coming in. He's got it. Flood holds at second. 2 outs. Here is Richie Scheinblum, who is 1 for 3. He singled in the 8th. 2 outs. Indians lead by 1. Washington has 2 men out. Low and inside, ball 1. Fouls it back, strike 1. Oh, these bullpen guys. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Change up, he hits a bouncer. The first, Harrelson, underhands it to Mingori. That's the game. Indians win 6-5. We'll be back with the highlights. Cleveland wins the first game of this doubleheader 6-5. Cleveland had 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Washington had 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Sam McDowell gets the win. He is 3-0. Denny McLain takes the loss. He's 0-3. Steve Mingori gets a save. That's his 3rd. Indians left 4 men on base. Washington left 10 men on base. McDowell pitched 7 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. He gave up 1 home run. He walked 6. He struck out 5. Then Austin came in. He pitched 1 inning. He gave up 3 hits. He gave up 3 runs. All earned. He gave up 2 home runs. He struck out 2. Then Mingori pitched 1 inning. He gave up 1 walk. He hit a batter. And he struck out 1 to get the save. McLain pitched 6 innings. He gave up 8 hits, 6 runs all earned. He gave up 3 home runs. Walked 4. He struck out 3. Grisenda and Riddleberger each pitched an inning of relief, and they both pitched pretty well. There were 6 home runs in this game. Washington got on the lead first when Denny McLain singled, scoring Paul Casanova. And Cleveland scored 6 runs. They had 3 2-run homers. Vada Pinson hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, and then Greg Nettles hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd. John Lowenstein hit a 2-run homer in the 4th. Frank Howard hit a solo home run in the 7th. And then in the 8th, Toby Harrod hit a 2-run home run. And Tom McCraw hit a solo home run. So of the 11 runs scored in this game, 10 were scored via the home run. Ray Fosse got 2 hits. He had a triple. John Lowenstein 1 for 3. Greg Nettles 1 for 3. Toby Harrod went 2 for 4 with a home run. Tom McCraw was 1 for 1 as hit a home run as a pinch hitter. Frank Howard hit his 2nd home run of the weekend. Time of this game was 3 hours and 20 minutes. Right now, Cleveland has a 5-3 overall record, and Washington has a 6-5 overall record. Cleveland has game 2 of their doubleheader coming up. And after today's games, Cleveland will hit the road, going to Boston, Kansas City, California, and Oakland. They have 3 games each in Boston and Kansas City, and 4 games each against the Angels and the A's. That will be the Indians' longest road trip until August. So, once again, the final score for today's game was Cleveland 6, Washington 5. I believe that the next Indians telecast will be Saturday from Kansas City, a city that Cleveland, for some reason, has trouble winning in, even going back to when it was the Kansas City A's playing there. So I hope you enjoyed this game, and thank you for watching.